don't post that information on our website. It's probably information you could get through the local district office.
Will we be able to get that, Ms. Rocha?
Sure. They weren't able to get it before.
We don't, because we don't post that. What we do post on our website, though, are the vacancies that we are aware of. So when a principal calls us and says, I need a math teacher, an English teacher, a PE teacher, we post those on our website, and those are the positions that are available for you to apply to. Yes?
Yes, would you clarify a certain point? You said that if we were in a pool and we were working, then it was your responsibility to help us to find a job as long as we're working. Why did Dr. Daisy then say that if you do not find a position, if you're not placed by in 1 year, you would be dismissed?
First of all, I can't speak for the superintendent, but I can say that there was a presentation to the board last Tuesday about a report, and one of the things included in the report was, I guess, New York City or one other school district has done that or is trying to do that. That is not our policy right now. What happens in the future, I don't have control over, but as of right now, this minute, as long as you continue as a contracted teacher, it is our obligation to assist you in finding a spot. So if you fill in for someone for 6 months, that position ends, we have to reassign you to either another temporary position or as a pool. In the meantime, we will continue to work with you, even though you're temporarily assigned to a school. If a position becomes available for which you're qualified and you want to apply to that position, you can still do that. Don't let the fact that you're filling in for someone for a month or for 3 weeks stop you from applying for a position that becomes available, a regular ongoing position. Yes. So
if we're working at a place and they want to get an interview, are you going to supply sub coverage for them someday, or not?
That really is up to the school site administrator. Typically, we encourage our pool teachers to interview at the end of the day, but certainly there have been occasions when the principal has allowed teachers to go during the day. It really is a school site administrator decision.
So what I'm saying is, if the principal of the other school says, "I want you here at 1 o'clock," what am I supposed to do?
Then in that situation, if the principal wants to interview you at 1 o'clock and you're temporarily assigned to a classroom, I would speak to the administrator of the school where you're assigned and ask permission to see if they can cover your class for that period where you can go on the interview, or have the two principals work it out so that you can get a time that's conducive to all three of you.
And you won't be docked for pay?
Not if the principal agrees to release you. Again, it's a site decision. It really is a site decision. I can't speak for every principal. Yes.
Okay, I have a question. You mentioned that the new teachers coming into the school will have to meet the No Child Left Behind requirements, and key requirements, and Title I requirements. Yet, as far as I know, every single chemistry credential and physics credential at this school is gone. That's under this current school, not over there and the ones over there, but every single chemistry and physics credential is gone. And the new teachers coming in, I would say there's a very strong likelihood that they have biology credentials, but not chemistry credentials to teach the chemistry class they'll be teaching next year. And as far as I can tell, that is out of compliance with NCLB, Title I, and KIA. Now, is there a guarantee that the new teachers starting on July 1st, whenever we start here, the new teachers teaching those subject areas of chemistry and physics will have passed their CSET, will have picked up a real credential, a permanent credential, or will they be just handed a board credential? Where does it stand on this?
We're assisting the local district in the interview process. We're not making the selections for the school. What I can say is when any principal says, I want to hire this individual as a chemistry teacher, we check to make sure the individual is appropriately authorized to teach chemistry.
as I've been interviewing, and I've gone downtown as well, that's what I've been looking for. So if there's a biology teacher, and when I have a chemistry opening, I'm not offering that job because they're not.
As the current biology teachers that are remaining, will they be asked to teach chemistry next year out of their compliance? Well, because I know that there are biology teachers here that have been asked to teach chemistry, even though they don't have their credentials in chemistry.
Mr. Thomas, I just went straight through, as we were making assignments, I just went through what they had for a credential. So for what they had for a credential is the class that I am making assignments, and Ms. LaGrosa.
Yes.
This probably only pertains to me, and I apologize for your time. But I was told, I was not given the opportunity to reapply based on my credentials. I come from elementary, although I just found out today that I could have applied as an ESL teacher. When I spoke with Mr. Faulkner, he told me that the school had decided not to get.
Actually, I didn't know that on the radio, and I emailed you back saying let's schedule an interview.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yes.
What was the answer?
Well, I just found out that I couldn't teach, that I could teach ESL. And so, Tim Faulkner told me that the school had decided not to get a single subject credential. I mean, multiple subject credentials. And, but I guess.
Yeah, we have ESL openings, yes. That's why I said, yeah. And I have no idea.
So I will get an
It's
interview.
learning for me too.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like some closure and to know whether or not I'm slipping through the cracks. I did apply. I was not assigned an interview, and so I called, and there was no answer. So I just have no idea.
Hi, Dr. Watson. How are you?
Oh, you didn't know me.
No, I do know you. Actually, I asked my secretary, Alex, because I went back and double checked. I mean, the list was huge, and I realized you had applied, and you were one of the RIF teachers. You were yellowed for some reason or another, which was an indication that you were RIF, and we were doing those later. So I asked her to make sure she scheduled an interview with you, and there's a couple of other people that also needed to have their interview scheduled. So she is doing that. So I apologize.
Well, not a problem. It's just I'd like for you to know that part of the confusion is that there were other RIF teachers who were interviewed. And another concern is that, and this is just since I wasn't interviewed, I don't know, but teachers who were interviewed are stating that they were being interviewed along with people who were doing their student teaching. Is a permanent credential not required? What?
At the placement fairs, you mean? Yeah, at the placement fairs.
This is at the district office after we finish our
Okay.
Once we start
Okay.
interviewing the RIF teachers.
Okay. The local district interviewed first all of the individuals from Huntington Park who had applied. After that, to fill the remaining vacancies, they're going outside of the current staff. Those individuals who interviewed who are currently student teaching, it would be in a shortage area like chemistry and physics, and they will not be hired until they complete their credential program and are fully credentialed.
And it really was an oversight. But, you were at the bottom of in alphabetical order, so.
Yes, sir.
What about the teachers who were interviewed who haven't heard yet?
You mean as far as a response to the employment interview, or whether you're going to be rescinded or not?
Both.
Oh, both. Okay. I'll answer the second part. Okay. We're hoping that the information that we received from budget this week. Remember that the budget process reopened last week and closed on Friday. So budget is going through all of the new information from the schools to see what additional positions have been purchased. then we will examine that to determine whether or not we can rescind or recommend to the board that we rescind additional notices in different subject areas based on what's purchased by the schools. So so we don't really know when that will happen yet. But then the first part of the question.
So again, I'm on the same boat for part of the answer to that question. For the teachers that interviewed that were RIF and whose RIFs have not been rescinded and that we're considering for hiring, we're waiting as well to see what the results of the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've got a question for the placement fair. We've already had one last week and one this week canceled. What do we find out about them? Where are they going to be? And if they actually are going to be happening on the date they're supposed to be happening?
Well, how do you find out about the placement fairs? The teachers thus far, they found out about them because we send out a mass email on your LAUSD email account to all the people on the priority placement list. So now that you're all going to be added to that list, you will begin receiving those emails about the events. Yes, ma'am?
Some of us can't use our LAUSD email.
Yeah, mine doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Right.
We need to give you an opportunity.
The problem is we do it automatically. We generate the emails from the system. I would encourage you to contact ITD and have them check into that immediately. The other thing you can do is keep in touch with Tim, to find out if anything is coming up. Also keep track of the vacancies on the website. The LAUSD email is our official method of one of our official methods of communication. There is help, I believe, on the website where if you're having problems with your email, it tells you who to contact and how to contact them to get it straightened out. Yes, sir.
I was told by a principal that they don't know their need for teachers until the start of September based upon student enrollment. So therefore, I apply to a school and they say, we don't know until September.
Good question. He's hearing from principals that they may not know what their needs are until their students show up in September. That happens a lot in the recent few years because we're in such a state of declining enrollment in the district. That principals they want to staff conservatively because come norm day, they don't want to have to displace teachers. So that could actually work to your benefit because if you haven't been selected by August, we're going to assign you to a pool location. Come September, October, norm day, if schools are over-enrolled and they have to open additional positions, those individuals who are in the pool will be first in line to interview for those positions. So just because you don't have an assignment on the first day of school doesn't mean you won't get one as a result of what happens by norm day. Do you want to say something? Oh, okay. All right. Did you want to address? Okay. We're going to have Tim talk for a few minutes and then we'll get back to questions.
I just wanted to make sure that you had some...
If I may, she's had her hand up.
Oh.
I'd like to move out of this district because I live north.
Let me address
Will
that.
I hear, if you email me about job fairs in districts 1 and 2 and other...
Yeah, let me, that's part of what I wanted to make sure because I see a few people needing to peel off from the group here. So, as Debbie pointed out, tomorrow's placement fair at Escalante Elementary has been moved back to next week on the 21st, Tuesday, probably at Obama Middle School. And that's going to be combined with District 7 and possibly District 5 in order to have more schools there available for you to interview with. Then the other piece for you, I understand on Wednesday that out in the valley, I don't know any of the other details, but there is also a placement fair out in the valley.
This week Wednesday? Or
This next Wednesday,
okay.
Week from tomorrow.
But where?
I don't have any information on it.
Which district?
You'll all be, I don't know where it is, but I'll email all of you. So those that are looking for schools in districts 1 and 2 especially, then that might be a good opportunity for you. And I wanted to make sure I got that out to everybody before you left. And then when we're done with the questions, I'll fill in with some others. Obama is in District 7, and we'll just email everybody, so make sure you check your LAUSD account. We'll just email everybody, we'll get the information on where the time and the directions to the school. Okay?
And again, I mean, I have been getting notification every time I try to log on to my LA Unified email account. It never works. I haven't used it in years. Is there any way that we can get notification at our email that our own personal email that we would use and that we know is working well?
Well, we need to look into yours because that's our official record of communication with you also. Okay, then you know what you need to do is get a list of people to us.
I'm writing myself a note to see if we can contact somebody in ITD to work directly with all of you instead of you all calling them.
Right.
And then we can send, well, we'll get that information out to you. Okay. Well, I sort of jumped in on the placement.
He's had a question for like 15 minutes over there. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, if Huntington Park High School is unable to fill a position that because maybe it has a special credential requirement in a shortage field, for example, some of the electives, cooking class, woodshop got ready to CTE credential. Could teachers from here that have been displaced be hired back? No candidate is found for those positions?
Well,
That's really up to the local district or to the new administrator when whoever you're.
He wanted to know if an individual had, for example, a type of credential that was highly specialized and there was still a need here at Huntington Park High School, might they be hired back into the school? And the answer to that is it's really up to the team that's conducting the interviews and or the new administration team once they're online. So they'll make the hiring decisions that way.
Yes,
Do you know who the new administration team at Huntington Park High is yet?
I do not. That's not a decision we're making. That's being made at the local district site, and I'm not sure that. Yeah, nothing's finalized yet. Yes, sir. Way in the back.
Two questions. If you are placed at a school to be a sub, and you are on, let's say, 8-track, are you going to be at the school for 4 months or until the assignment is over?
You know, it's a good question, and it kind of made me think back to what I had said. We're going to, if come August and we have to make a placement for you, we're going to most likely place you at a traditional calendar school. Why is that? We want to ensure that you get a good year for STRS. Because if we were to place you on an A-track in a temporary position, and then that person comes back, and then we put you at a different school that was a different calendar, your hours for the year may get messed up, okay? We don't want to cause that to happen for anyone. So the best case scenario, you either end up in an overpaid situation or an underpaid situation. We do not want that to happen. And then the worst case scenario is you don't end up with a 1.0 for STRS for the year. So our goal will be to place you in a traditional calendar school to ensure that your time for the year is not going to get messed up, you won't be in an overpaid or underpaid situation, and you'll have a good year's credit for CalSTRS. Yes?
Okay, this is about the CST test we just took, and it has to do with the situation I see here. I have some physics students that when they took their CST in physics this year, they were told, oh no, we can't give you the physics test because there were none available for that teacher that was administering the physics test. They were forced to take the chemistry test. I didn't discover this till later. Now, the question I have is, one, has this been a problem here at the school for how long? Where students are given the wrong test and therefore causing skewed scores, leading to this chaos we have here. So what sort of protocol, what sort of guarantee is there on such a high-stakes test affecting everybody's reputation and job here? What sort of situation is happening where one of my physics students is being given a chemistry test? The other question I have after that is, will his sucky chemistry score go on my name?
That's it. Excellent. That question is from the coordinator that can answer.
Mr. Thomas, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm going to follow up on it.
I have a
Thank you.
right here. You're welcome to have it afterwards.
Can I answer that? Actually, every kid, based on the class they have, some kids took chemistry or physics and they choose what test. But I seriously doubt that a kid was given the wrong test.
Another situation.
I'm sorry about that.
This one young lady, she took chemistry last year under a different teacher. She took as far as I can tell, she took the entire year's worth of chemistry. She failed the first half of chemistry. Now, at my previous school where I was at, they took the CST. Now, this young lady is now being forced to take the chemistry test, even though she hasn't taken Chem B through me. Therefore, half the test, she's unprepared for. And when her sucky chemistry score comes due, will that reflect on me? And also, didn't she take the CST last year when she was a 10th grader? She was a 10th grader last year, an 11th grader this year, repeating the course because she failed it the first time, and now she's having to be forced to take the chemistry test one more time. And by the way, that one young man that took the physics test, that took the chemistry instead of the physics, I don't believe he's the only one on this list. And we can document that.
Definitely, yeah.
And by the way, this is only the situation that I observed because this happened in the room near mine. What about all my other students that took CST all over the place? I have no clue what's going on with their scores.
I need to validate your issue and your, okay, but we're not in a position to respond to them from Human Resources, so in respect to everyone's time, let's see if we can focus on HR-related questions, but we do need to validate your important question. Yes.
Is there a list or a website or get a hard copy of all the open positions out there for us to apply before August or before we go off June 30th?
The website is teachinla.com. On the home page of the website, there's a link to vacancies, and it takes you to a list of all the vacancies by subject area, and it is updated as we receive information from principals. So any position that's posted on there, if you're credentialed in that area, you are certainly encouraged to apply.
What is that website?
www.teachinla.com. You can also get to it from the main lausd.net. If you click on employment at the top, there's a drop-down menu. You can get to it that way as well. But you can go directly to it at teachinla.com. Yes, ma'am, and then we'll come here.
Yes, I just wanted to ask a question relating to your statement about not being able to tell principals who they could or could not hire. And I was wondering, how does that work with the language in our contract, which provides for senior teachers to be placed before less senior teachers? Because I think that's an issue that we're dealing with here and which we're going to be continuing to deal with as we interview, that many principals, it behooves them to hire less senior teachers because for budgetary reasons. And I'm just wondering, what does Human Resources have to say in light of that contractually we're supposed to have bumping rights, and yet at the same time we're being told that Human Resources cannot tell principals who they should hire?
Certainly your contractual rights are with the class selection on the matrix. And that is for individuals who are assigned to a specific location, okay? If you're not assigned any longer to a specific location, then you're not part of the matrix for a particular school. So that's why then you're placed on a priority placement list. You are, yes, indeed, a contracted teacher with the district. Your contract will continue. We are obligated to assist you to find a position at a school. Now, if you find a position at a school, next year at this time, you will be part of the matrix process at that school, and then that's where your seniority based on your contractual rights will come into play. Is there anyone from UTLA who wants to add to that about matrix?
Hi, I'm Cammie George. Some of you have called me. I am from UTLA. I'm your area rep. It is actually true. You do have bumping rights, but not for this purpose, for the displacement rights. And understand this whole process is somewhat new and still in discussion with the union. I've been told that they are still in discussion about the process. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking down all the information. I'm taking it back to senior staff and the elected officers so that they can put together, a position for you to stand on. Okay. Yes.
At the House of Representatives meeting last week, we made a clarification at UTLA about Article 11, Section 15, subsections A through I. Sure.
I don't think we'll use that part. Just so that the people in the back can hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's very clear that if you look at the contract, and I suggest you do that, Section 11, 15, Sections A through I, it gives a priority listing of hires for the school. And the third one on the list is displaced teachers. Letter I believe, is for new hires. And we requested a clarification at the House of Reps meeting last week, and the House overwhelmingly voted that that was the interpretation. So I think that it behooves UTLA to get on that point.
Well, I will take that information back. That's what I'm doing today.
Yes.
My question is about bumping rights, and I'm not sure I understood what you just said. On number 8, it says, but cannot bump less senior teachers for their assignments. We're contractually allowed to bump people before a specific date in March. If we wanted to bump somebody, if we knew a position we wanted, say, in the Valley, what day do I start the bumping process? September? Do I have to wait for the new school year to?
I have to clarify that with our
Start?
Yeah.
I know I can't do it right now, but I'm assuming I can do it once the new school year starts. But I have to do it before March.
But I have to check on that. And I'll get back to Lori, because Lori and I talk all the time. So.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, if you hear from Mr. Faulkner, you may have some answers to my questions.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Freeman House. Weren't you going to do a presentation of the stuff? Okay, well,
We just opened it up to questions,
okay,
so
well,
Debbie was doing a good job.
I'll ask some questions.
Almost as good as I would do.
If my zip code is in Redlands, so I commute here to LA Union Station now. If I'm assigned to a school out in the Valley or somewhere that actually makes it physical, and I refuse that, is that part of my first refusal or my only refusal? Or?
Metro Link goes to the Valley.
Yeah, I'll get there at 9:30.
Okay, well, first, you want to know that we do everything we can to place you, if that means pooling, within local district 6, and then we kind of work like ripples in a pond outward. And so it might then mean we look to District 7, 5, or 8. Those are the districts that surround us. And that's where everybody goes. I've not pooled, in my experience, a teacher from District 6 out in San Fernando or San Pedro. Now, if you're looking for an assignment there and you find one, that's okay.
Well, that's the second part of my question is, are we obliged to interview? Like if I find an open position in the Valley that's in music, and am I obliged to apply for that? Or can I just, wait to be assigned to the pool and not apply? Am I, you get what I'm getting
Well,
at?
my recommendation is this, because we have two parties here. We have the teacher, and we have the school / principal. And when you have two parties, the teacher and the principal offers and you've sought it out, you accept it, then we have two happier campers than we might otherwise. And that's the preferred way we'd like to see it happen. We know it can't always happen that way. There could be instances where, as a music teacher, you're placed into a vacancy. Again, we keep them close in pretty much. I've never sent anybody over the hill out into the valley, but
Unless they ask.
well, unless it was requested, but just in terms of a placement where HR is more involved with it. And we have had people go into districts 5, 7, and 8, and that's true. And there's a possibility that for some of us in this room that we might be assigned in other districts too.
Well, I think what I'm getting at is, at some point down the road, I don't want to get in trouble for not applying, so.
My answer is you should actively pursue vacancies, yes. Because you'll be happier if it's a vacancy that you're interested in. You're picking and choosing someone. I'm not interested in that one, but over here I really would like to go there. And if the selection occurs that way, then that's the best for everybody. So everyone should be active in seeking out an assignment that way, particularly in these early weeks, and then as school ramps up again in the fall. Usually, but less so this year, we would have more vacancies right now, but because of the RIF situation and budget and this and that, we just don't quite have a clear picture yet. But certainly come the fall, we'll know where vacancies are, and principals are in with their schools until the, when did they leave? End of June? Okay, so they're there a week past school being out for you, and then they come back about 3 weeks before school opens. So they're there a good part of the summer, but certainly not the whole summer.
And many of our principals will be interviewing during, high school principals will be interviewing during summer school as well.
Got one more and then I'll let you go. If I don't find a position and I'm assigned to a pool, and at the end of the school year 2011-12, I still haven't successfully secured a position for 12-13, am I then fired?
No. There's, as Debbie said previously, there's nothing that has changed the fact that this time that every person in this room is a contract teacher. And you will work. She referenced it will not affect your salary. I would also throw in that it will not affect your benefits. That all stays in place. Your salary remains annualized. And the board would have to take very deliberate and specific action in that direction, and I'm sure it would be of enough interest that everyone would know about it.
And that's for longer than 11-12, that's for 12-13, 13.
Well, why?
I mean, that's
until the board would change the policy, if they were so inclined to do that. Right now, as a contract teacher, our commitment to you is that you will work your contract hours for C basis. That's 1,224 hours if you've ever counted it up. And we're going to see that you have that opportunity to work so that you earn your full salary for the year, so your benefits are in place, and you get a full year's service credit for retirement. And I know that doesn't address all your concerns, but I do believe that those three things, that's a big piece of it. You can pay your bills and your family can see a doctor as needed. And that's our commitment to you as a contract employee. So, and the other big commitment is to try to get you into a place that everyone's going to be happy that you're there, especially you. Okay, did I answer your questions?
Yeah, so the only way I can get fired is if I refuse to take a position or commit multiple felonies or something.
Well, certainly the multiple felonies could play into it.
But also,
And
if I refuse a position, that's another way that I could get not employed. In other words, if I don't find an assignment, I could just be fooled until...
well, but pooling is not the first choice. The first option, our preference is to have you in a regular assignment. And there's probably no such thing as a perfect one, but we'll try to hit 90% for you. Yes,
I heard because of the reconstructions, that's where most of the jobs are going to be. So is that just a rumor or whatever? In other words, we could be going from one reconstructed job place to another reconstructed school?
Yes, that's actually what happened.
We do have a number of schools that are going through the restructuring process this year, but we also have a lot of schools that are losing staff members through the reduction in force that aren't being affected by restructuring, so they will have vacancies. Also, keep in mind that the restructuring schools are hiring in subject areas where we have RIF, reduction in force, where we have layoffs. We can't hire new people from outside the district in an area where we have layoffs. So the schools that are restructuring are going to be pulling teachers from other schools. It's a domino effect, thereby creating vacancies at the schools where those people come from. And that's the part that will continually change. So as people get positions, we will put in where we're aware of vacancies, we will post those on the website. Okay. Let's go there and then back to the right.
I'm a RIF teacher, and my RIF hasn't been sent it. And I just want to know what's my status. I just got an email a couple hours ago, June 18th, to paperwork to become a sub. Now, how would I know later on if I can get in for another job?
Oh, good question. Okay, good question. By ed code and by contract, if you are laid off, you get placed on a rehire list. That rehire list is maintained in seniority order for a period of 39 months. So if during a period of 39 months a position comes up in your subject area, we by law have to go to that rehire list and bring people back in seniority order.
And you notify us, right?
Yes, we do.